Have you ever noticed how life feels heavy, complicated, tangled in threads you cannot see? You wake up, chase endless tasks, chase approval, chase moments that slip like water through your fingers. And yet the simplicity you crave feels distant, almost unattainable. And then, out of nowhere, someone whispers a truth so simple that it shakes the ground beneath your restless mind. That's exactly what happened to me when I met a monk high in the mountains, far from the noise of the city. Far from the screens and endless notifications. I went there hoping for answers, expecting something profound but complex. What he told me was neither complicated nor ornate. In fact, it was the simplest thing I've ever heard. Yet it carried a weight that could transform my life entirely. He said, "Life becomes simple when you stop holding on to what doesn't serve you." At first I thought it was just another cliché, another motivational phrase recycled 1,000 times on social media. But as he looked at me with eyes that had witnessed decades of human struggle and peace, I realized this was not advice. It was a rule, a law of life, as fundamental as gravity, yet as easy to ignore as the wind. He didn't need to explain much. His presence alone, calm, grounded, unshakable, spoke volumes. And slowly, as I began to listen, not just with my ears but with my entire being, I began to understand. The monk's rule was simple: release what burdens you. Release what distracts you. Release what chains you to worry, resentment, fear, and doubt. At first it seems almost too easy. You think, if it were that easy, wouldn't everyone be living in peace? But simplicity is not weakness. It is strength distilled to its purest form. It is clarity, focus, and freedom wrapped into one effortless motion. Imagine standing in a forest surrounded by thick fog. Every step feels uncertain, every tree a potential obstacle. Now, imagine the fog lifting, slowly revealing the path ahead, revealing the sunlight piercing through the leaves. The birds gliding effortlessly above. That is what letting go does for your life. It clears the fog. It reveals the path. The monk taught me that most people carry invisible backpacks filled with regrets, grudges, obligations, and fears. And then they wonder why they feel tired, why life feels like a constant uphill climb. The key is to inspect the backpack. Ask yourself, what am I carrying that I don't need? What weighs me down unnecessarily? And here's the twist that shocked me. The hardest thing to let go of is often not someone else or a tangible possession, but your own story about yourself. The story that says, I am not enough. I must be perfect. I am defined by my past mistakes. I have to control everything to survive. This story creates invisible chains. And the monk said, cut the chains. Live unburdened. But how? How do you release a lifetime of thought, habit, and belief? He smiled as if he had been waiting for this question. He told me a secret wrapped in a metaphor. Imagine a river. The river flows endlessly, effortlessly. It doesn't try to hold water. It doesn't fight rocks or fallen branches. When debris enters its path, it simply flows around it, over it. Sometimes pushing it along, sometimes letting it drift away. The river doesn't resist. The river doesn't grasp. It moves with life, not against it. He said, be the river. Let life flow through you, not resist you. Let go of what you cannot control and embrace what is truly yours. I realized that control is an illusion. We fight so desperately against the natural current of life, thinking that by holding on, by grasping, by resisting, we can somehow secure happiness, stability, or success. Yet all we accomplish is exhaustion and frustration. The monk taught me a simple practice that takes just moments a day but has the power to strip away decades of unnecessary complication. Each morning, before the world demands your attention, sit quietly, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, what am I holding on to today that I do not need? It might be anger at a friend, regret over a decision, anxiety about the future, fear of failure. Visualize these burdens as stones in your hands. Feel their weight. Then slowly, gently let them drop. Watch them sink into the earth, dissolve into the soil. Imagine the relief as your shoulders lighten, as your chest opens, as your mind clears. The monk said that when you make this a daily ritual, you begin to notice patterns. You begin to see the invisible forces in your life that you feed unconsciously. Negative thoughts, toxic relationships, fears disguised as necessity, and with awareness comes choice. You cannot change everything, but you can always choose what to carry and what to release. And here's the subtle magic. Once you start releasing what does not serve you, Life simplifies naturally. Decisions become easier because there are fewer distractions. Relationships become clearer because only those aligned with your growth remain. Work becomes more focused because your energy is not siphoned by mental clutter. And most importantly, you begin to feel a profound lightness, a deep, resonant peace that has nothing to do with circumstances and everything to do with presence. The monk also warned me of a common pitfall. He said, "Some people think letting go means giving up, that simplicity is weakness. They cling harder, thinking they are strong. True strength is the courage to release, to trust life, to move forward without unnecessary weight." It reminded me of a bow stretched to its limit. Tension gives it power, but release allows it to shoot the arrow forward. Life, too, is about this tension and release. The rule is deceptively simple, yet its execution demands honesty, courage, and persistence. And as we live in a world designed to complicate life, to pull our attention in 1,000 directions, this rule becomes revolutionary. You can watch countless tutorials, read hundreds of books, or chase fleeting trends, but nothing simplifies your life faster than learning the art of conscious release. So how do you begin? Start small. Identify one burden today, one story, one thought, one resentment. Hold it in your mind. Examine it. Ask, is this mine to carry? Does it serve me? And if the answer is no, let it go. Watch what happens. Often, you will feel an immediate lightness, a small crack in the walls of mental clutter. And once you feel the first wave of relief, it becomes addictive, not in the sense of craving escape, but craving clarity, craving freedom, craving authenticity. The monk taught me to integrate this rule not just in thought, but in action. If a person or situation consistently drains you, release attachment. If a task or a commitment distracts from your core purpose, let it go. If a belief keeps you trapped in fear or limitation, question it, then release it. He emphasized that life rewards courage and clarity. Those who dare to release what does not serve them create space for what truly matters. Love, creativity, peace, purpose. Imagine a house full of clutter. Furniture, trinkets, unnecessary possessions crowd the space. Walking becomes difficult, the air stale. Now imagine removing the clutter, one piece at a time. Suddenly, sunlight streams in, rooms breathe, movement is effortless. That is the inner life when you apply the monk's rule. Every burden released is like opening a window to let fresh air into your soul. Every story abandoned is a room cleared of dust and cobwebs. Every resentment forgiven or let go is a door unlocked to new possibilities. And as this simplicity grows, it begins to ripple outward. You notice the subtle beauty in everyday moments, the sound of wind in trees, the smile of a stranger, the warmth of your own breath. Life, in its essence, was never complicated. We make it complicated by clinging to things we cannot control, by feeding fears, by overthinking, by resisting the natural flow. The monk's rule is a reminder that the simplest way to live is to release. To release is not to forget or deny. It is not weakness, passivity, or avoidance. It is wisdom, courage, and love for yourself. It is the recognition that your energy is finite, your time precious, and your peace sacred. And so I invite you to try this today right now. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that I do not need? Take a moment, breathe, visualize. Let it go. Feel the shift. Let it ripple through your mind, your body, your heart. And remember, the monk's rule is not a one-time act, but a lifelong practice. Some days will be easy. Some days, the weight may feel heavier. Return to the question. Inspect the backpack. Drop what is unnecessary. Release with intention and awareness. And as you do, you will discover that life, once tangled and overwhelming, begins to unfold in simple, clear, beautiful ways. Mountains seem less daunting, rivers flow more freely, conversations feel lighter, laughter comes more easily, and you start to realize that simplicity was never out of reach. It was always waiting for you to notice, to embrace, to live. Life becomes simple, not when circumstances align perfectly, but when you master the art of letting go. When you let go of what does not serve you, you create space for what does. Space for love, space for creativity, space for clarity, space for peace. And perhaps most importantly, space to simply be without pretense, without constant striving, without the noise of unnecessary burdens. This is the monk's rule. It is a compass for navigating the chaos of modern life. It is a lighthouse guiding us through storms of doubt and distraction. It is a gentle hand reminding us that we do not need to hold the world in our palms, to live fully, powerfully, and peacefully. And as I walked down the mountain path, lighter than I had felt in years, I understood that the rule works quietly, almost invisibly. It does not announce itself with fanfare. It simply transforms the way you experience every moment, every decision, every breath. So take the first step. Examine the backpack. Drop one burden today. Watch the light return to your eyes, the spring to your step, the clarity to your mind. Practice daily and notice how naturally simplicity begins to flow into your life. And remember, letting go is not loss. It is freedom. It is the ultimate form of self-respect, self-love, and self-mastery. The monk's rule is not a suggestion, it is a gift. A gift that, once received, will ripple through every corner of your life. Life is not meant to be heavy. Life is meant to flow, to breathe, to unfold, to be lived with presence and grace. Let go and watch life become simple, beautiful, and profoundly liberating. If this message resonates with you, if you feel even a small shift inside, take a moment to honor it. Drop a comment below sharing what you are ready to release today. If this inspired you, hit that like button to remind yourself to embrace simplicity. And don't forget to subscribe to Echoes of Greatness for more insights that awaken your mind. Open your heart and transform your life, one thought at a time. The monk's rule is waiting for you, and your journey to a simpler, lighter, and more meaningful life begins with a single release.